Welcome back, everybody, to the Silent Hill Ascension post show. This is Eduardo, joined by Noah. And Noah, we just watched kind of the scene between Astrid and Ingrid play out there.
Right. So that was also like Astrid throwing those wacky pills away, and which, by the way, I don't know if like maybe the pills were gonna protect her from these harrowing visions of her dead mother, Ingrid.
I mean, let's put it this way. The redemption option was to throw the pills away. She's, as she says, a specialist in not taking it. She understands the science behind medication. And on top of that, she understands to usually take the ones prescribed by a doctor and not just given to you randomly by some other person. So, the community chose the thing, but again, it was 49% because a lot of community kind of wanted to see the fun of what would happen if she took it, which I appreciate a lot in the chaos side of things.
I appreciate it. Astrid goody two shoes again, not taking pills that weren't subscribed for her.
Yeah, but the thing is, she, her hope would have been down. They didn't, in the endurance scene that just happened. So maybe things go a little bit worse for her. Now, that said, one of the things is our cameo contest is about to close soon. So Noah, if you could, our production team is going to throw that up on screen, the explanation, and if you could read essentially about cameo contests.
Yes, because cameo contests allow you to be an extra in Silent Hill Ascension. You can take part in the cameo contest every day, and the cameo contests are entered with influence points. Eduardo, please elaborate.
Sure. So it's an important part of Silent Hill Ascension that you, as an audience member, not just make those decisions, but you can be of the story forever. You can be immortalized. Each day, you and other audience members can enter a cameo contest, and that cameo contest takes a bit of time. Once it closes, as it will actually very soon, I believe we're about 10 to 15 minutes off. So if you're interested, I would highly recommend doing so very soon to get your entries in on time. But if you want to be essentially like Ingrid's dead body, Lady Crow, which we saw in one of those scenes, or if you wanted to beat up Toby, which I don't know why you would want to do that, but that was your part. That's essentially what you can do. And, being immortalized is kind of neat because that's something that exists after your name is there, your character's there.
Right, and by the way, I really love the Lady Crow's sun. She looked so cool in that slab. Wow, goals.
Yes, no, that for sure. Now, let's look back quickly into what happened just now, right? Like on the one scene, which was in Pennsylvania, Xavier tells Deborah that Toby is the source of the Wyvering and requests Rachel's help in ensuring a smooth severing, including basically Rachel kind of breaking that friendship that Eric and Toby have. That's like kind of the decision that got introduced today. Don't worry, we will break that down. But essentially, that's what's happening in our video that you just saw. And Noah, was there something from that scene that was particularly striking to you?
Well, I'm a bit scared of Xavier. I started out, I was really like, oh, Xavier is just misunderstood. He's a nice man. But now I'm like, this is not nice. He's getting Toby. And it's just so stressful right now.
No, I know, like, a lot of stuff is happening around Toby. And on top of that, he doesn't really have friends that have his back. The only one, Eric, is kind of in a position of, so to speak, weakness. Essentially he decided to join an organization where he's at the low end of the totem pole, and like he's pretty defenseless. But it is messed up, by the way, when you join an organization and within the first moments of joining this, the leader's like, oh yeah, you gotta sacrifice yourself.
Yeah, that's too soon. Maybe too soon. It's like biblical, in the biblical, it's like in the first episode when they start sacrificing. I don't know. But anyhow, this is a really big request. I don't know how I would personally deal with it. And Xavier is less and less looking like the nice old man that I thought he was, and more like a really controlling, frightening. But I do understand how you would trust him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's the quality of a good leader. You trust him. Trust him through, pricking your finger with blood and all this other stuff that, and Layla's not here. I'm going to call it a cult. It's a cult. The Foundation is clearly a cult. Like that's
Layla, I'm snitching to Layla. Now I'm gonna get stitches, but I'm a snitching.
That's fine. I'll just not be there to hear the end of it, at least for a while. But anyways, we're going to have that production throw up the decision that kind of opened today that was part of that scene. Noah, could you introduce us actually to essentially what the audience has to decide?
See, you, the audience, have to decide how will Rachel get Eric to end his friendship with Toby. This is a really tough one. The only friend we have, the only friend Toby has here. So we have to decide, is she gonna ask for his trust, which is the redemption? Or is she gonna say that Toby did a horrible thing, which is the suffering option? Or is she gonna threaten to leave him, which is domination? Oh my God, so much manipulation, so much pain. I don't know what to decide here.
Well, I mean, one of the things, right, the suffering option is fundamentally a lie. But it's a lie to prevent more damage, which is kind of why it's in that middle. But the threat to leave him is kind of a scandalo move, in my opinion, right?
It is a scandalo. This is like top-notch toxic behavior. And also, by the way, I do think that Toby did some things in his life,
I mean, yeah, he's not proud of them, but like at the same time, did he do something horrible just now? Apart from, suffer, get beaten almost to death, seeing himself as a monster. And one of the things, by the way, remember we're in Silent Hill Ascension. And I can't help but look at all that fog that was rolling around Toby on the scene that played out yesterday. Because that to me was a big thing.
The fog is coming. The fog is coming. More monsters, more fog, more spooky children. Things happen. By the way, we never talked about Faith slapping Rachel. I'm sorry, I'm throwing back here, but that was for me one of the most scandalous moments of them all. Really.
I mean, like that whole thing was like the slap, the running away. All it missed was the children's choir in the creepy basement. That's literally all that we needed from that horror to really properly dive into horror, as it were. But that's the thing. It's how do you deal with your children when you are talking about human sacrifice? That's like something you're trying to get your child involved into a ritual where you're going to sacrifice the person, which not the best parenting move, no matter what. Now, all that said, we're going to kind of go back into this. We delved into it in the pre-show, but we're going to have to really dive into fate and hope right now. This is going to be important, especially in the storyline we just talked about with Toby. But Noah, if you could reintroduce us essentially to our fate and hope systems.
Yeah, so the way it works is that the decisions and the puzzles and the endurance streams, all of these contribute to whether or not the character will face redemption, suffering, or domination in the grand Silent Hill Ascension finale. And their fate is decided across the length of the season. A character's hope needs to be high enough for them to survive a crucial story moment. So again, you get your influence points by playing enjoying the awesome puzzles we have, and doing the endurance streams and making decisions, and then they can survive potential very challenging moments in the story.
Yeah, and we're gonna start. We don't like spoiling stuff, but there is a strong hint which I will highlight in a little bit. Don't worry, I'll be in a minute or two. It is publicly available, by the way, but I want to make sure I highlight it because I want to make sure that all of you have spotted it. But the big thing here is essentially, right, that, fate is the decisions you're making. It's very clear to you when you're making that decision what's going to happen in terms of what you'd like to see, and hope is kind of your actions, right? So here we go.
Yeah, so let's talk about a little bit more about the concept of the faith and hope. Talk about the concept a little bit more.
Sure. So one of the things, right, is it's this idea that when you make choices, they're not in isolation, right? Like you have things that happen at specific moments, but though a character is not made of small moments, they're made of essentially an arc. what makes this character exist. So when you're in an interactive series, the character's tapestry is essentially being built by you, the audience at home. You're all weaving that character's fate, as kind of a lot of mythologies in ancient Greece talked about, right? You're all creating essentially that character as we go. So as there are highlighted moments of their lives, the only way we get to see what happens to them is when the tapestry is completed. And now, here's the thing I was hinting about. This is publicly in the app. You don't need to go right away, but do check this out.
Stay with me. Don't leave us.
Well, I mean, for sure, but in about 10-ish minutes, our post show will be done. You'll have the dev updates. We'll update you on some important things about our schedule again if you haven't had a chance to hear about it on Monday or in our social channels. Now, one of the decisions that's not closing today, it's actually going to close in a couple of days. I believe Monday exactly, based on the 5-day mark of it. One of the words on there, so one of the things when you look at decisions, there's a little tags on the top. So there's usually marked if it's fate or not. So, but you can see that usually when you're taking your decision. One of the tags is also Gore the Platinum. Those tend to basically say how important of a fate decision is. So if you haven't noticed it before, you might start now. Now there was a new tag added on that decision with Toby that's coming up in 5 days. That tag says Final Fate. And I would pay very close attention to that decision. Without wanting to spoil more, it does very specifically say Final Fate. Some of you might have spotted it, but I'm just telling it for all of you who have missed it. There is Final Fate on there, and that decision's playing out on Monday.
This is the final. What do you mean final, Eduardo? What do you mean by that? You're stressing me out right now.
I'm not spoiling shit here, Noah. No, nothing. Like, no. You have to tune in Monday. All I'm telling you is you'll want to tune in Monday. We'll tell you about this. There's also an interview with Chris Cross here because he's going to walk us through the Fate and Hope system, which will be as I like to say, apropos. It's going to be definitely a day to remember. We highly recommend to come back for that day. In the meantime, pay attention to that decision. It is essentially a Final Fate decision involving Toby. We highly recommend that you pay close attention to it. Very exciting stuff, Noah, here, because we've been talking about the length of the season. The length of the season doesn't necessarily mean the last day.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like sometimes before you know it, it comes to some really, really impactful decisions. And, we're getting close to all kinds of crossroads in the story, I feel. This is like all this tension building up. We're finally seeing it. But by the way, there's another decision that's opening today that we want to participate in. So the question is if production could show us, it's how will Rachel get Eric to end his friendship with Toby? So will she ask for his trust, which is the redemption option, which she will say that Toby did a horrible thing, which is the suffering option, or will she threaten to leave him, the scandal option in this case, which is domination? This is a lot of decision making, and I'm actually really excited to see where this is all going.
Right, and that's one of the things, right? One of the things of character arcs aren't just about that character, right? We talked about Toby a lot. It's also about how other characters treat their relationship in accordance to what's going on with other characters. And that's really it, right? Like this one is on Rachel to take action, so it affects Rachel. So that's where like things are important. It's because something happens to a character, how others react is critical, right? That's part of that tapestry, as I was talking about, is no, these characters aren't in isolation. That's actually a really big thing in Ascension that we've had in some of the, actually Noah's been having the chance to have interviews with a number of our developers for you on air. And the thing is, if you haven't had a chance to see those, a big thing we had is there's a lot of interconnected relationships in Silent Hill Ascension. That's a very big difference in terms of the franchise. Is here, this time, we're really talking about characters in accordance to each other and the relationships between each other while they're alive. because we certainly seen things where like somebody, how do you deal with somebody who's dead? Actually, I say that, but we see Joy and Ingrid a lot.
Yeah, we do have some dead people, but sent through the hourglass. We all get to decide here on Silent Hill, and everything really is so woven together. Like you said, Eduardo, and in the interviews I was very fortunate to conduct here. It's really, like you said before, nothing happens in a dead space. Everything impacts one another, every little piece in our system and also in the story. So it's like, and also with all of us, because this is the true democracy. We are working together as a collective here to move the story forward.
So excellent words. So we've kind of gone through the story. Our production team's going to throw the dev updates on you on screen for all of you at home so that we go for it. We want to make sure you're informed about the latest developments with Silent Hill Ascension. And, because we listen to your feedback, we want to make sure that you're also aware of what's coming up. Noah, if you could please read some of those for us.
I would love to, because we do have schedule change and Thanksgiving off. And we have also a new mindfulness puzzles and levels. We have fishing and we have car repair. And we added a loading screen customization. So Eduardo, please explain all of this.
Sure, of course. So the schedule train changed. We went through this with Layla on Monday, and we've also posted about it on our social channels. Essentially, we're moving from, based on the feedback from you, the audience at home, a 7-day, everyday show to weekdays. Essentially, a lot of you kind of wanted time to appreciate the story and take time, and we saw that you had trouble going the whole way on the weekend. So we want to make sure that we're delivering to you the story at home. So the story, obviously, when you're moving from 7 days to 5 days, it'll take more time to finish, but it'll be the same content. You'll still get to appreciate the same things. And of course, right, if you have the Seasons Pass or Founders Pass, that's going to, match the season. That said, also Thanksgiving's off. A lot of our teams in the US who want them to have a holiday. And for ourselves on the hosted show, we actually won't be here Friday. We're actually doing the interview on Monday. So the next time we'll see the hosted shows on Monday. I'll repeat that in a bit as well with a little bit of a graphic to help you. In the meantime, puzzles still every day. That's, if you want to chill, the puzzles still every day. Mindfulness puzzles, there's more available, right? You got access to kind of fishing and car repair. Fishing actually got added Monday. Car repairs today. That's the news. You probably hadn't had time to check it, but it's going to be updating very soon. And the puzzle also got some new levels because it's important. We know you appreciate them, and we want to make sure that you can continue to appreciate them. The screen customization, so that's within your profile page. You essentially get to choose what your loading screens are. A little bit of an extra perk for you who have followed us since the start, so you get that customization. Finally, we generally have more stability, and we've been fixing bugs, so always update your mobile app to have the smoothest experience possible.
Right, and that reminds me also that we are nearing the end of the show. Eduardo, can you recap? There's so much that happened here.
No, of course, and here's the thing, right? It's essentially the tension that's been rising all of last week is accumulating with Toby. There's a final fate decision. I would highly recommend you stick with us for Monday, but things have been heating up. The steel mill. Will Toby essentially sacrifice himself? That's you, the audience at home, that's choosing that or one of the other options. Now, also in Norway, things keep building up. We see Astrid having to deal with a lot of complicated relationships, still doing the right option, so to speak, based on what you're doing. You allowed her to kind of kick back on her mother with kind of asking for an apology, which I thought was great. That was a great choice from you, the audience. In the meantime, by the way, if you wanted to stick around, you can be in the app. Puzzles are available all the time. And Noah's a big fan of puzzles too.
I love me some puzzles. Enjoy them with me, please.
Yes. So Noah's going to probably actually enjoy car repair right now as soon as we end the show. But now that's the thing. I'm going to ask our production team to throw essentially our next shows. You're going to see kind of two things. You're going to see first here kind of our next shows. So it says Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for the pre-show. This Friday, we will not be on. The main show will take place. So Thursday, there's no new video content. You get to replay, but nothing new. Friday, we'll have video content. And Monday will be the next time you get a pre-show with us, and we'll also have an interview with Chris Cross in the post-show. You definitely don't want to miss it. That'll be great fun. That'll be actually with Noah. So remember, Thanksgiving's off. We've also changed our schedule to be on weekdays. All that said, I hope you've had a great time with us. If you've stuck with us so far, thank you so much. We wish you, if you're in the US, a happy Thanksgiving. If you're not, we would love to see you again in any case. We just want to make sure tomorrow we're taking a break. Friday is when a little bit more action takes place, and Monday is when that final fate decision closes. So this was Eduardo, Noah, rain, shine, or fog. We will see you for the next one. Bye.